Abraham Lincoln believed in government of the people and by the people and for the people. He said, "It shall not perish from this earth." And he said it at Gettysburg in November of 1863, the Gettysburg Address. It consisted of 272 words, but I think it was true then, it's true today, and it'll be true forever. And I think all of the portraits that we see here of real heroes from Illinois, the best of the best, they live up to every word that Abraham Lincoln uttered at Gettysburg, that they understood the importance of government of the people. They answered the call to duty after 9/11 to protect our democracy. All of us who are alive on that day will never forget that horrific day, and the importance of having men and women from our state and every state volunteer to go forward in the face of danger to protect our democracy. Each and every one of these soldiers and service members are real heroes who volunteered. They had in their heart a servant's heart. They understood that they had to risk their lives for all of us. So it's our duty, as Abraham Lincoln told us, to never forget that sacrifice. They did not lose their lives in vain. And it is important that we remember their purposeful lives. God did not give them perhaps a long chronological life, but God did give each and every one of these portraits and men and women who are depicted here a purposeful life, a life that really made a difference. And so I have always found that when I come to our Portrait of a Soldier's exhibits around the country, around the state, it's going to not only be here in Springfield this weekend and the coming week, but also at O'Hare Field in Chicago and Daley Plaza, where we have a gathering tomorrow honoring the Memorial Day and commemorating it. And many Gold Star families will be there. But when you come and see the portraits and look into the eyes of each and every one of these service members, you see their soul and you see how special they are. And I want to say to the family members who are here and all to the Gold Star family members that you gave them their values. You knew your son, your daughter from the day they were born, and you gave them that ethic of service. And we thank you for doing that. It makes, I think, all of us in Illinois feel very proud that we have in our midst 13 million people, special families that understand what democracy is all about, what sacrifice and service is all about, and we want to always take care of our Gold Star families. And we see the gatherings all across our state where we have the exhibit of Portrait of a Soldier as a way of bringing our Gold Star families the knowledge and understanding that the people of Illinois really do care and have sympathy and condolence for your loss. There are no words in the English language or any language to relieve the pain of a parent or a spouse or a child who has lost a loved one. And this is very, very true with respect to those who have given their lives for our country in Iraq, in Afghanistan. And so the young man who has painted all of these portraits comes from Mattoon, Illinois. And he works on my staff and has for some time. His name is Cameron Schilling. And in his town, a young man by the name of Charles Neely was killed in action in Iraq. And it was a very sad time indeed in Mattoon. And Cameron drew a portrait of Charles and brought it to his family. And they were so moved by this portrait of Charles Neely, their son, that Cameron asked to do other portraits for other families. And I was lieutenant governor at the time. We worked with Cameron Schilling. He became acquainted with all of the Gold Star families. They provided a portrait or a picture of their son or daughter, and he drew this portrait. And the portraits are very meaningful because they will live long after we're gone. Long after we've passed away, these portraits will still be here. And I think that's a everlasting reminder to the people of Illinois, people of our country, that we, at this time, in the first decade of this century, had special men and women from the land of Lincoln who answered the call to duty and helped preserve and protect our democracy. Now, I happen to believe, and I'm sure everyone here feels the same way I do, that our faith teaches us that we will see each and every one of these service members again. And we will thank them for their lives of service. And I think it's very, very important that we have that everlasting faith and hope that these special men and women who we look in the eyes and see their soul, we know that their souls are immortal. And I think it's very, very important in this coming week that the people of Illinois, if they happen to be near the museum here or up near O'Hare Field, maybe picking up somebody, a passenger, or someone who is leaving our state, and they see the exhibit, or they're down at the Daily Plaza there in Chicago, they take a moment, even if it isn't 10 minutes, even 1 minute, to take a look at some of these portraits. It's so important, I think, for the people to take into their hearts what this great sacrifice has been over the last decade. So on behalf of the people of Illinois, I do want to thank everyone who has been involved in this project. It has been going on now for quite a few years. Portrait of a Soldier has been everywhere in our state and will continue to be everywhere because we never, ever forget. I now want to ask Colonel William Covetto, of our Assistant Adjutant General of our Air National Guard here in Illinois, to say a few words, and take it from there, Colonel, if you would.
Thank you. Thank you, Governor. On behalf of Major General Inyard, my boss, who worked for the Governor, the 13,000 men and women of the Illinois Army and Air National Guard are very appreciative of events like this and these drawings. There are 235 faces of men and women who have gave the ultimate sacrifice on these drawings, 34 of which are Illinois National Guard airmen, Air National Guard airmen and soldiers. You know, as the Governor said, we can never remember and thank those family members and friends of the loved ones who we have lost. You know, it's often said that our freedom is not free, and this is so true. And this weekend, we honor, take time to remember and reflect. And for those of us in uniform, it is a reminder of why we serve. You know, these monuments and these drawings are a reminder to us of what our responsibility is to those we have lost, that we will never forget and always serve in their honor. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Okay, thank you, Colonel. Thank you very much. Appreciate your kind words. I think this is a difficult time, and I know for each of the family members here, it's not easy to ponder the loss of someone that you have been close to all their lives. But I think it's important that we say loud and clear the names of some of those who are on this exhibit here, that their family members are present. I think it is important to say their name and their rank and a little bit about their life. Margie and David Pelmatier, who are from here in Springfield, their son Jacob, they went to his wake and went to school here in Springfield. Special young man. He was killed in action on February 24th of 2005. And if you'd like to come forward and just say a word or two about Jacob.
Jacob was our only child. He always did exactly what he wanted to. He graduated with honors from Illinois College in Jacksonville, had scholarships to go to law school, turned around and said, "Mom, Dad, I need to go in the Army. I need to serve my country." It was a surprise to us, but we're very proud of him. And we're grateful each day that the time we did have him. But we always want to remember always what the real cost of war is. Thank you.
Well said. Thank you. We also have the family of another real hero, Joshua Powell, a biblical name I might say, Army Staff Sergeant. His mom and dad, David and Teresa, are here. And David, would you like to come forward with Teresa and say a few words?
I'd just like to say Josh loved what he was doing. It's kind of a similar story. He was in an ROTC program and called me one day and said, "Dad, you're not going to understand this, but I just need to be in the Army full time." So he joined Fort Campbell, spent one tour in Iraq with medevac, and then spent 2 tours in Afghanistan as the crew chief and a standardization instructor and a door gunner on a Black Hawk. And that's how he died, was in a Black Hawk crash. and that's what he loved. So he told us that if he ever had to die young, that he'd want to die serving his country.
Thank you, David. I was in Afghanistan. I was on a Black Hawk, and each and every one of the service members who are on Black Hawk helicopters in Iraq and Afghanistan are really indispensable to the mission. And so it's so important that we pray to God every day for the immortal souls of all of our service members who've given their lives. And we have one more family member who is here. Julie Tilton Magana is with us. Her son, Jesse, I was at his funeral. Army Sergeant Jesse Tilton gave his life for our country on July 16th of last year. And Julie, you want to come forward and say a word or two?
I want to thank all of you for coming here to remember. I want to thank the National Guard. I want to thank the Army. I want to thank the 82nd Airborne. My son has been called a true American hero at the funeral. That's what I heard over and over again. And I do believe that. I do believe he is an American hero. He did what he was supposed to do. He saved that boy's life. And I thank all the Army people that were with him that day, who were all working together and trying to do the very best they could in a terrible situation.
Well said. Thank you, Julie. I think it is important when we use the word hero, it's bandied about in our society, sometimes carelessly. Somebody makes a free throw and wins the game the night before, it's called the next day's hero. Or some outrageous celebrity or rock star is called a role model. I really don't think those are the genuine heroes or role models for our society. These portraits, those are the real heroes and the models that all of us as parents should seek to impart lessons to our children about the lives of these men and women. And there is a passage in the song, America the Beautiful. We all know the words of the first verse, but the third verse of America the Beautiful, I think, really sums up each and every one of these service members and their heroic lives. It says, "Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life." So each of these service members on Portrait of a Soldier, they are true heroes. They died in liberating strife. They love their country and all of us more than their very selves. So we ask God to bless their souls. They are immortal. We will see them again, and thank them for their devoted lives of service. Thank you. Thank you, Julie.
Thanks, Gil.
Yeah, you're the best.
I know.